Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we have entered day 196 of the ongoing war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. And officially, I'm going to say, as of right now, that this Ukrainian counteroffensive in the direction towards Kherson, or the western bank of Kherson, has officially stalled. There are numerous reports coming in, more importantly, anecdotal reports coming in from Ukrainian combat soldiers that are participating in the ongoing fighting, that have been wounded in action and have been extensively interviewed in hospital about the ongoing war that is taking place. There have been a number of both frontline personnel and lower level leadership individuals of the Ukrainian military speaking to press reporters that have gained access to them. So first, you have to understand that the Ukrainian military, the Ukrainian state, has really cut off all media access to the operation to the east of Mykolaiv and on the western bank of the Dnieper River. So it's very, very difficult to obtain information about what is going on in terms of battlefield reports taking place outside of speaking to those wounded Ukrainian soldiers in hospital. And more importantly, during these interviews, most of these Ukrainian soldiers have spoken of very, very little to marginal gains taking place. So you'll see here on our tactical map, there's really two areas where the Ukrainians have pushed into and have penetrated the Russian defensive positions on the western bank. Here, kind of in central, in the central footprint, and to the northeast as well. But what these Ukrainian soldiers are saying, one individual who would refuse to be identified stated that 100% of his company were casualties in the ongoing fighting. Now, they all weren't killed. Most of those soldiers were actually wounded, and several were killed. But again, it just kind of shows you the intensity of the fighting that is taking place. And they said that they had moved into a small town or village that the Russians had previously occupied, and then the Russians started their relentless shelling, and that's what's caused basically that entire company to be wounded in action. Most of them were not killed. Most of them were wounded. We'll be very, very specific. Several were killed. But again, you can kind of see the types of casualties that are being taken. Normally, when they talk to these individual company commanders or platoon commanders, they're talking about 20 to 27% casualty rates by the Ukrainian military in this ongoing operation against the Russians. They're talking that they're saying that the Russian positions are very, very well fortified. They have created in many instances actual reinforced concrete bunkers for individual tanks to move in and out of fire and then go back into defilade. And that is right now the Russian defensive strategy in kind of curtailing this ongoing Ukrainian offensive. But right now, there's just not been a lot of movements, and based on these continued reports coming in of the extensive Ukrainian losses, they are just not going to be able to keep up this reported counterattack against Russian forces in this area for much longer, as it's going to put other operations theoretically at risk. Now, we have heard that there continues to be fighting in other areas as well, and there is a report that indicates the Ukrainians may be preparing for a operation near Kharkov, or Kharkiv, however you would like to pronounce that. But we have not seen that come to fruition yet, and we'll continue to watch that and see if that actually does occur. It's probably, in all likelihood, a propaganda method designed to draw attention away from what is happening near Kherson. Very, very heavy fighting continues, and obviously it has not gone completely to plan in terms of what the Ukrainians were trying to do. And even on the onset of this operation, we here at MFAN felt it would be very, very difficult for the Ukrainians to do what they were trying to do in terms of pushing the Russians out of the western bank of the Kherson footprint that they continue to occupy. In other news, very interesting new piece of information coming to light, which indicates that the Ukrainians are going to be receiving a new weapon system here shortly. It's the Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, the AGR-20. Basically what they do is they take a unguided Hydra rocket that's normally fired out of a rocket pod on like an Apache gunship, Cobra gunship, and they're traditionally unguided 70 millimeter rockets. Now what they have done, they have put a laser seeker head on the Hydra rocket and made it essentially a precision guided munition. And what they're doing is they're not putting these on Ukrainian helicopters. What they're going to do is they're going to place these rocket pods, four rockets, a pod of 4, on technical type vehicles, Toyota off-road type vehicles, and use these in a both anti-drone effort and a direct attack method as well. But these are incredibly accurate and very, very lethal rockets when they do become precision guided systems. And it appears the Ukrainians are going to get quite a few of these systems. We do know they have been used in Afghanistan. They've been used in Iraq. And they're very, very effective. They're very the cost of these rockets are very low when you compare and contrast those rockets to, let's say, an In-Law or a Javelin or some other anti-tank guided weapon system. So you're taking essentially again a dumb rocket and you're making it into a smart rocket that is basically a laser designated rocket that has very, very precise ability to attack targets. And the weapon system also, when it's deployed on these technical vehicles, is also there is also a thermal imaging optic that is also used with this system as well, which makes it just that much more effective in terms of how it is used. And you can do your own research on it. It is called in terms of the system that the Ukrainians are going to be getting, it's called the Vampire. Do some research on it. Very, very interesting system. Really designed or talked about, designed as an anti-drone system. But the reality is it could also be a very, very effective tool against land targets as well, or even low-flying helicopters as well. But that does it for today. We're going to continue to monitor what's happening on the ground and bring you more content for your consumption. And as always, thanks for joining us and have a good day.